Jerrod Carmichael, Rothaniel, is his latest stand-up comedy special, released in 2022 and is available on HBO Max. This is his third HBO stand-up comedy special. He filmed it in February of 2022 before a live audience at the legendary Blue Note Jazz Club in New York City. I didn't know that. I just read that. It was written and performed by Jerrod Carmichael and directed by Bo Burnham. I think Jerrod Carmichael is dope. I've enjoyed his previous specials. The Carmichael Show, which was only, I want to say 2 seasons, may have been 1, but I think 2. Then he decided to step away from it. I felt like that show was great. And it had a potential to be like a really, really good introspective type sitcom. And I was definitely bummed out when he decided to step away from it. Now, from the beginning, his new special came off as very artistic. This is why I was like, oh, that makes sense now. Because he had jazz playing in the background. And in the beginning, you see like different streets in New York City and the snow falling. And it's him, but you don't know it's him, making his way to the Blue Note Jazz Club. And you just see like light flurries and snow falling. And it's with these nice visuals of different New York City streets in the dusk with jazz music playing in the background. And then you realize it's him when he walks into the club and takes off his jacket, hands it off to someone who's waiting there for him, and then makes his way to the stage. And the way it's shot, just like visually, like a nice blue lighting, and the club felt intimate. And the way it was shot, it felt, me as a viewer watching it from home, like actually felt like I was in the club, if that makes any sense. Because normally like specials are in like a theater setting, sometimes like even in like arena setting or like a big theater, or even when it's in an intimate room, you kind of get like a wide shot, I feel, of like the audience, and you feel like somebody watching it on TV that's watching an audience that's watching the stage. With this one though, and I'm not sure what it was that Bo Burnham did exactly, if it was like all the close-ups or what it was, but I just felt like I was in the audience. Plus the audience felt like a small room. Like I have no idea what the size of it is, the Blue Note Jazz Club, but it did not feel like a big room. And it helped for this Jerrod's style of comedy, and specifically with this set, because it was a very introspective, intimate special. It was funny because Jerrod is a funny comic in my opinion, but like the genre of this was definitely, it wasn't like over the top funny, it wasn't silly funny, it wasn't political funny. It was much more introspective, here's my human experience type of funny. And I definitely appreciate that. And the way it was shot, again, definitely lends itself to that. It was reminiscent of, and you guys can go back and listen to this, Neil Brennan's special, Unacceptable, which I saw live. And I broke down during episode 197 of the Spun Today Podcast, in case you guys want to go back and reference. But like I would put that and this like within the same genre, if that makes sense. Like it was definitely funny in moments, but I feel like there was more of an emotional weight to it. And there was a theme within this special of living with secrets. And Jerrod details how growing up he knew and found out, it was like first in his family kind of, to find out that his father was cheating on his mother, and his mother was actually like the side piece, quote unquote, family, and his father had like this whole other family in life, and living with that secret as a kid, and then eventually like forcing his father to tell his mother, which he knew would break his mom's heart. And he starts off the special with telling us that he has a secret because that he's never told us, his audience, before, in that his first name he never shares. Everybody always thought his name was Jerrod Carmichael, but Jerrod is actually his second name. And in this special, he was just like putting it all out there and sharing all his secrets, that being one of them, which is why the special is titled Rothaniel, because that's actually his first name. And it's something that he name that he was like always ashamed of. And even he says like back in high school, he used to pay off the people that put together the yearbook to like take off his legal first name and just use Jerrod. And Rothaniel was a combination of his father's name and his mother's father's name. So it is both his grandparents on either side. It was a combination of both their names, Rothaniel. And then the big quote unquote bombshell is that in this special, he comes out as gay. And he just details his like struggles of, you know, coming from a religious black family, growing up in the hood, being in entertainment, and, you know, all things that don't lend itself too well to being gay, and his struggles of hiding it from his friends, his family, until this point in time, you know, leading up to the special where he started coming out to friends and family, and eventually to us and by us, I mean his, you know, fans, his audience, in this HBO special. And it's definitely a tough thing to do, it seems like, right? Like, you never hear stories of, or at least I don't, of, oh, you know, coming out the closet was so easy. And, you know, it's always like a harrowing, hard thing for folks to do, which sucks. Just like feeling as if you have to live that lie. And I say, you know, feeling as if you have to live that lie, coming from the type of, or at least my mentality of, you know, I am who I am, take it or leave it. If you're not cool with that and you've been my friend for 20 years, then fuck you, cut off the cancer type of mentality. But I understand that that's not everybody's demeanor. That's not, I don't even know if it would be my demeanor if I were in that situation. And he even touches on it. He was like, how do you reconcile the fact, and I'm going to paraphrase a bit, but how do you reconcile the fact of, you know, as you grow, as you evolve, sometimes you have to, you know, cut people out of your life. But how do you reconcile that when that person is your mother, or when that person is your brother, or when that person is, you know, a loved one? And as a longtime Jerrod Carmichael fan, I definitely feel for him. Seems to be in a happier place, a freer place. You know, I've seen him since host SNL and, you know, joke around about it. And I'm definitely happy for him. And just kind of sucks that it's something that he had to wrestle with and go through for all these years. Now, two things that I want to highlight from the special as well. I loved how descriptive it was. How, just like from a writing perspective, I like detail. And I like how he was telling us, he was going through a bit of how when he found his dad's porn stash, and he described precisely how it was like in a closet, in a Nike box on the left-hand side between a jar of nickels and his dad's gun. And just like, you could like visualize that closet and that room, and how he mentioned that the tape was actually of his parents fucking. And it took him a minute to recognize the room. And he was like, hey, I know those sheets. They had pineapples on them. But yeah, I definitely appreciate that descriptive level of detail. And something dope that Jerrod has always been able to do, in my opinion, even though it's obviously a set, you know, that's rehearsed to a certain extent. Obviously, you know, it's a taping of a HBO special. But he has the ability to be very conversational. Everything just comes off as like natural and like in the moment. And I think that takes a certain type of comic to be able to pull that off. So, you know, hats off and kudos to him. And that was all compounded by the fact that he made the setting such that he allowed for not heckling, but like the crowd jumped in and asked questions throughout the taping, which was interesting and definitely lent itself to the in the momentness of the feel of the special. But yeah, man, it was definitely a dope special. I recommend it. You guys should definitely check it out. Jerrod Carmichael, Rothaniel, streaming now on HBO Max. Check it out.